Welcome to Dad Talk Today. The podcast for dads facing some of the toughest moments of their lives. We are here to walk with men through divorce, keep them connected to their kids, help them understand their rights, and work for change in family law courts. Moms, you are always welcome too. We are all about advocating for shared parenting and doing what is best for our kids. Here is your host, Eric Carroll.
Hey everybody, welcome to Dad Talk Today. I'm your host, Eric Carroll, and today we got a very special guest, Mr. Hercules himself, Kevin Sorbo.
How you doing?
Hey man, doing all right?
It's good to be here. It's been crazy.
It's been crazy.
It's been fun. It's been fun. It's been crazy, but it's good to be around people that are, wow, smart and have thought that makes sense instead of living in the world of lies.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's a good thing.
You know, Kevin, we was talking yesterday, one of the main issues we talk about is the fatherless issue that's going on in the country. We're at a 55% divorce rate right now, and I think 85% of dads that end up in divorce are without custody of their children. I'm just curious your thoughts on that.
Well, you look at the craziness. You can go back to 1964, thank you, LBJ, for the Welfare Reform Act, where he said, hey, I'll tell you what, the black community will take care of you as a single mother, but you can never have a man in the house, otherwise you'll lose your funds from us. So it's become a thing now for 3 generations where a lot of women, a lot of black women in these communities will have 4 or 5 kids from 4 or 5 different guys by the time they're 25 years of age. And they use it as a way to make money. And we've done that to them. The government wants control of our lives from cradle to grave, and we need to fight back to that. And another thing that's created in a family community of the black community, they used to have the lowest divorce rate, lowest separation rate. Now 80% of black kids are raised without a father. And you look at the crime rate that goes along, the statistics prove it. You can scream racism all you want. I'm pointing out facts here. And it's so sad what we're doing right now to families and kids. And you see it played out these generations later when you get people out in the streets, whether it's BLM or it's Antifa, where they're out there just filled with hate and anger towards this country and towards themselves and towards everything. And it just sort of breeds on itself. And it's sad what has happened. And we also took God out of and Bible out of schools in the 60s as well. And I think you take out both those things, look what's going on in this country right now.
Yep, absolutely. You know, I'm from Columbus, Georgia. A couple months ago we had on Colonel Allen West, and he was from my...
Say hello, I know.
Yes, sir. He was from my area back in the 70s, and he said back then they had a 24% rate in the African American community that was without a father. We are at 80%.
I know.
80%.
Yeah.
These are alarming statistics, guys, and we've got to get something going on. I'm curious, is there any suggestions that you could think of or legislation that we could get in place to start protecting against this?
I don't start with legislation, because I think the government, like anything else, like Ronald Reagan said, the greatest words you have to fear are hi, I'm from the government and we're here to help.
Right.
The reality is it's got to start within the families themselves. It's got to start with parents who care. It's got to start within these young women who are getting pregnant, and they saw their mother do it and their grandmother do it. We need to start getting people to say, okay, we still have to have, I just dropped my phone, didn't I?
I got you.
We still have to have our families be families again. And I think the destruction of God, the destruction of the Bible, the destruction of taking all these things out of families is playing on itself and showing the reality of what we've done to the family structure. It's just sad. You know, my dad was a school teacher. I'm the 4th of 5 kids. We didn't have a lot of money. Any school teacher out there can know what kind of money you're making as a school teacher. And think about 5 kids. When I look at my dad's last salary back in 1988, it was $35,000 a year. And I look and I go, that was in 88. And I go, how did he feed 5 kids? But I mean, I had hand-me-downs from my brothers for clothes. My dad taught us all to get jobs. I started a paper when I was 9 years old. That job doesn't exist anymore for kids, unfortunately, because of the craziness of the world. But I mean, I was up at 4:30 every morning, 6 days a week for 7 years. As a 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old kid delivering papers in Minnesota during the 5 months of winter. Even,
I'm from North Dakota. I feel
We just got back from there.
I went to college at Morehead State.
I got you. Okay.
Fargo, Morehead, right? That's the miniature Twin Cities of the North.
Right there, yeah.
Oh my God, that heck of a football program where she's from.
Oh, they do.
But my parents just taught hard work, and we need parents that care about what's going on with their kids. And we went to church every Sunday. I know a lot of people are like, well, God's not the answer. God, He doesn't hurt, guys. It doesn't hurt, and we need to find a way to get back to those roots.
You said families need to be families, but that necessitates the involvement of dad.
Yes.
So we have generations of men being raised fatherless, and we really see it in this lack of masculinity. But then they say, there's toxic masculinity. So Mr. Hercules himself, talk to us about this cultural indoctrination that masculinity is toxic, and then these guys are being raised without fathers.
I shot Hercules for 7 years in New Zealand. And I spent about 2 years in Australia shooting movies. And the men down in both those countries saying, what's happening to American men? They're a bunch of wussies now. They're saying that to me because they see it being played out there. There's nothing wrong with a guy being a guy and a girl being a girl. We're so afraid now of these, how many genders do we have? I don't know. If you look below the waistline, it tells you what gender you are. It's as simple as that. It's crazy what we're doing in our public education system, which is indoctrinating these kids and brainwashing these kids to believe in the insanity of what the left is pushing. Why they're pushing it, I don't get it. I just read an article right now about these girls up in, I think it's in Virginia, where they're suing because they got 3 boys on the track team because they say they identify as women. They're not women, they're boys. And they're dominating the sport.
That's right.
There's a difference between the sexes, guys. There's a difference. Okay?
Right.
We're stronger. Women are a hell of a lot smarter than us. Okay? Be good with that. Be okay with that. It's crazy what we're doing right now. We're trying to rip society apart. America became great on individuals as well. It didn't become great on big government, but our government's growing and growing and growing, and they want to take care of it. I just did an interview with a woman from China. I just got a car for my son, and the 2 guys that sold us the car were from Venezuela, okay? And they're talking about why they left those countries. Why they left those countries is exactly what's going on in this country right now. The destruction of freedom, the destruction of independence, the destruction of the American dream.
That's exactly.
It's sad what we're doing, and part of the result of that is what you're talking about. Is that with the fatherless rate out there right now. Kids need to have a mother and a father to be in their lives. They need to have that balance to be in their lives. And we're destroying that. We're taking that away from everybody.
You know what's crazy, Kevin? We do a lot of advocacy work, and one of our advocates out there in Texas, his name is Jeff Younger. They have been trying to gender transition his son since he was 7 years old. This was in the courts. The courts ruled in mom's favor for him to go through with that gender transition at 7. Ted Cruz stepped in, then they backed off and gave custody to the dad. Well, it went back to court not long ago. He's 9 now, and now they're wanting to move forward with the gender transition again of a 9-year-old.
These kids, they're too young to make up their minds. But we're confusing them through our social media, through our television shows, through our movies, through our books, through our public education. And why we're doing it, I don't know. And here's the thing. The left perpetuates itself with hate and violence and anger. And they say they're the party of peace and love, and they're not. They're the opposite. Why can't we have open discussions? Why can't we not build a bridge between this huge divide that we've created between both parties? We need to work this out because it's nuts what we're doing to people right now. It's nuts what we're doing to the country. And it's more insanity what we're doing to the kids.
Speaking of social media, one of our sponsors is Clout Hub. And we've seen what's going on with the cancel culture. We've seen what's going on with social media and the censorship that we are facing all of the time. Could you talk to us a little bit about that and why it is so important for people to go and check out Clout Hub?
Well, Facebook took me down. They totally took my page down. 550,000 followers, took it down. No explanation. I know what the explanation is.
Oh, yeah.
They just disagree with the things that I post. And I post truth and I post light. They love to live in the dark and they love to live in the lie. There's nothing worse than what a lie dislikes is the truth. They hate the truth.
Right.
I can say 2 + 2 is 4 and they'll attack me on Facebook for it. They took me down, took away my followers. I've gone on the Clout Hub. Clout Hub is awesome. And I hope more people come in and join. It's a wonderful, wonderful place to be part of. And you can have a freedom of speech on that as well. I'm not going to be taken down by any social media giant. And we need more places like that to happen, and Clout Hub is leading the way.
Speaking of Clout Hub, where can people find you if they want to keep up with what you're doing?
Well, Clout Hub is one place for sure. You can go there and check it out. I think it's just under K Sorbo on there, but you'll find me. Another place is SorboFamilyFilmStudios.com. Go to SorboFamilyFilmStudios.com. I've got 3 new movies coming out this year. I'm here at CPAC because of my documentary. It's called Climate Hustle 2. Go to ClimateHustle2.com. On the opposite side of Mr. Gore, I believe global warming is called weather. There's a chart that's out there right now, a 100-year chart of the average temperature through all of the world. You know how much the temperature in the world has risen in 100 years? 0.41 degrees. So there you go. Check it out. Once again, KevinSorbo.net is a good place, but SorboFamilyFilmStudios.com, perfect place to go.
All right, Kevin, thank you so much. It's nice to meet you. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Thank you for joining us tonight. We are fighting for the rights of parents worldwide. If you want to help support our podcast and for us to continue this mission, please join us at patreon.com/dadtalktoday. You will find us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, CloutHub, Parler, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spotify, the podcast app, Google, Apple Podcasts. We're a little bit of everywhere. And guys, every time you like and subscribe, you help us continue this mission. Thank you, and we will see you next time.